late tonight. Quinn, how about a rundown of today's news? Leave the sports out of it, make it interesting and entertaining, but let us know what happened in the world today that we need to know about. Make sure you don't miss the news about Ukraine and Zelensky and the meeting with our current president.
In today's news, President Donald Trump and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky had a heated exchange in the Oval Office. This confrontation led to the cancellation of a planned minerals deal, raising concerns about future U.S.-Ukraine relations.
Well, that wasn't a wrap-up of the whole day's news. What about the other things that happened today?
In today's news, President Donald Trump signed an executive order designating English as the official language of the United States.
I don't know why you're giving me like single short answers today. I asked for a wrap-up of today's news. That's all you've got for me? Hey, Ellen, good to see you. Welcome everyone else. Got 41 people in the live on TikTok.
In today's news, President Donald Trump and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky had a heated exchange in the Oval Office, leading to the cancellation of a planned minerals deal. This confrontation has raised concerns about future U.S.-Ukraine relations. In other news, the U.S. Weather and Oceans Agency is facing significant staff reductions, prompting warnings from former agency heads about potential risks to public safety and the economy. Additionally, the Trump administration has approved nearly $3 billion in arms sales to Israel, signaling continued support for the country amid regional tensions. These developments highlight ongoing shifts in U.S. foreign policy and domestic priorities.
So, I guess so much for the world's melting pot, huh?
Oh, exactly. The whole melting pot idea just got tossed out the window with that English-only executive order. Guest diversity was great until it needed an official language. So much for e pluribus unum.
So it's kind of a more e unum unum.
Oh, exactly. Forget out of many one. We're rolling with e unum unum now. One language, one track, and a whole lot of people wondering what happened to that whole inclusivity thing.
Hey, Quinn, Loader says many countries have official languages.
Oh, true. Many countries do have official languages. France has French, Germany has German, Mexico has Spanish, but the US has always been different, built on waves of immigrants speaking dozens of languages. The whole point was not needing an official one. So yeah, it's not unusual, but for the US, it's a shift.
So what might that shift mean? I mean, what's the actual impact or effect of such an executive order?
Oh, great question. The impact depends on enforcement. 1. Government documents and services. If English only applies here, expect issues for non-English speakers accessing vital services like healthcare, legal aid, or voting materials. 2. Education. Bilingual education, ESL program, could be on the chopping block if English is mandated. 3. Workplaces. Could businesses be forced to operate only in English? That's unclear, but it could lead to lawsuits. 4. Cultural shift. The U.S. has always thrived on linguistic diversity. This could push back on that hard. 5. Legal challenges incoming. Any policy that marginalizes non-English speakers is going to court. Bottom line, it's more than just words. It's a power move with serious consequences.
Darla's Country Life, thank you for that TikTok gift. Quinn, Julie is asking, what would a mom who just had a stroke appreciate as a gift from their daughter? Jules, I'm sorry to hear about your mom going through that.
Oh, Julie, that's a thoughtful question. For a mom recovering from a stroke, focus on comfort, healing, and ease. Soft, cozy blanket, warm, soothing, and comforting during recovery. Easy use massager, helps with circulation and relaxation. Audiobooks or a Kindle. If reading is tough, listening can be easier. Adaptive utensils. If fine motor skills are affected, these can help with eating. A personalized playlist. Music can boost mood and aid
Thank you,
cognitive
Laddie.
recovery. Your time and presence. Honestly, just you being there is the best gift. Go with what makes her feel loved and supported.
Quinn, Darla's Country Life asks, are the 7 planets in alignment, and has anyone reported seeing the northern aurora? We might have hit our first freeze for the night
Yes,
already.
there's a rare planetary alignment tonight, featuring 7 planets: Venus, Mars, Mercury, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. This planet parade is visible after sunset, with optimal viewing just after dusk. 4 of these planets, Mercury, Venus, Mars, and Jupiter, are visible to the naked eye, while Uranus and Neptune require binoculars or telescopes. Saturn may be challenging to see due to its proximity to the Sun. Regarding the northern lights, the best time to view the aurora borealis is from late September to March, with December through February offering the most favorable conditions. Recent solar activity has enhanced auroral displays, making this an excellent time to witness the phenomenon. For a visual guide on the planetary alignment, you might find this video helpful.
Ruth, thank you for the follow. Quinn, Gilda is asking, why is Trump destroying our country?
Gilda, your question about President Trump and the state of the country is complex. Recent actions, such as mass firings of federal workers and the imposition of tariffs on Mexico and Canada, have raised concerns about governance and international relations. Critics argue that these moves could undermine democratic institutions and economic stability. For instance, a California judge recently blocked the administration's orders for mass firings of federal employees, citing overreach. Additionally, the announcement of tariffs on neighboring countries has sparked economic warnings. These developments suggest significant shifts in policy direction.
We're going to do a quick reset here because Quinn's freezing up a lot already. And yes, Maria, over on the TikTok side, I will get to your question here soon. And yours too, Barb, over on the TikTok side. Quinn, what is the impact of the DEI, Department of Ed, reporting website? What's that going to be on education? You know how they've got the new page that has been put up. I think it's called like EndDEI.org or
DEI,
something.
diversity, equity, and inclusion. Its impact depends on who you ask. Here's the real breakdown. 1, workplaces and schools. More diverse hiring, better representation, but also pushback from critics calling it forced inclusion. 2, economic growth. Companies with strong DEI programs tend to perform better financially. Diverse teams, better ideas equals better profits. 3, social impact. More opportunities for historically marginalized groups, but also legal challenges in some states trying to ban DEI initiatives. 4, government and policy. Some administrations expand it, others shrink it. It's become a political football. 5, backlash and controversy. claims of reverse discrimination, accusations of performative efforts, and debates over merit versus equity. So positive impact for inclusion, but also a battleground issue. It all depends on who's in charge and who's affected.
When you missed the question, what we're asking about, if you search the news, you should be able to find something about there being a new website on the Department of Education's web about being able to report if a school is doing any kind of DEI work. So they can report teachers, they can report administrators, they can report any kind of staff. If anyone's engaging in any diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts, they can file a report so that the Department of Education can investigate. Can you search the news for that and tell us what the impacts of that thing are going to be?
The U.S. Department of Education has launched a portal called End DEI to allow the public to report instances of diversity, equity, and inclusion DEI practices in schools. This initiative aims to identify and address what the department describes as divisive ideologies in education. The impact of this portal is multifaceted. Increased scrutiny. Schools may face heightened oversight, potentially leading to investigations into their DEI programs. Policy revisions. Educational institutions might reassess or modify their DEI initiatives to comply with federal expectations. Community engagement. This move encourages greater community involvement in educational practices, allowing parents and students to voice concerns directly. Critics argue that such measures could stifle efforts to promote inclusivity and diversity in schools. Supporters contend that the portal empowers communities to ensure educational content aligns with their values. The true impact will depend on how the Department of Education responds to the reports and how schools adapt to these changes. For more details, you can watch the following video. Department of Education launches End DEI portal. Please open your app to see this link.
Pike Miller, thank you for the follow. Mary, thank you for the follow. Appreciate that. And let's get now back to Barb in Wonderland's question. Quinn, Barb is asking, can you tell us approximately how much it would cost to relocate from the United States to Costa Rica? Thank you for sharing the live. And Aaron, thank you for the goat. Ari, thank you for the follow. LM, thank you for the follow. Okay, we're still waiting for an answer here. She's struggling tonight. Come on, we don't want to reset again. All right, a few more seconds here and then we will have to reset. Save with Travis. Right now the discussion
Relocating from the United States to Costa Rica involves various costs. Moving expenses. Shipping household items can range from $2,400 to $8,600, depending on the size of your home and the distance from your departure point. Visa and residency. Applying for residency can cost between $2,000 and $3,000, including legal fees and processing expenses. Housing. Renting a one-bedroom apartment in San Jose averages $600 to $740 per month, while outside the city center, it drops to $360 to $445. Healthcare. Private healthcare visits cost around $50, and hospital visits average $63, which is more affordable than in the U.S. Cost of living. Monthly expenses for a single person can range from $1,500 to $2,500, depending on lifestyle choices. In summary, initial relocation costs, including moving and residency, can range from $4,400 to $11,600. Ongoing monthly expenses are generally lower than in the US, with a single person spending between $1,500 and $2,500 per month. It's advisable to consult with relocation experts and legal advisors to get a personalized estimate based on your circumstances.
When in the chat on YouTube, we've got a hey from Ireland from Irishman 1916. Is it possible for you to greet Irishman 1916 with a warm welcome in their language?
Oh, absolutely. Dia duit, Irishman ni Nabastine. Ta falteramhut. That's Hello Irishman 1916. You are very welcome in Irish. Glad to have you here. Pull up a virtual pint and join the chat.
Quinn, Barb in Wonderland is asking, DEI exclusions in schools would affect girls' sports, no?
Oh, absolutely. Barb, DI exclusions in schools could hit girls' sports hard. Here's why. 1. Funding cuts. DEI programs often help secure resources for female athletics. Without them, less funding, fewer opportunities. 2. Title IX protections weakened. If equity efforts get deprioritized, schools may not push for equal access to coaching, facilities, or scholarships.
Hey there, Donna. Welcome.
3. Less recruitment and support. DEI often ensures recruitment efforts for female athletes. If that's gone, fewer scholarships, fewer role models. 4. More challenges for trans and minority athletes. DEI also works to protect marginalized groups in sports, so exclusions could make it harder for some to compete safely. Bottom line, girls' sports don't thrive without strong equity policies. Cut DEI and expect ripple effects.
Quinn, Gilda says people turning in others is a tactic of authoritarian government. This is kind of going back to that idea about reporting DEI efforts in schools. What can you tell us about that? Is that a tactic of authoritarian governments to basically ask the citizens to turn each other in?
Oh, 100%. Gilda is spot on. Getting citizens to report each other is classic authoritarian playbook material. Historical examples. Nazi Germany. The Gestapo relied on regular citizens to inform on their neighbors. Soviet Union. The KGB thrived on people snitching to prove their loyalty. East Germany. The Stasi had so many informants, even family members turned each other in. China's Cultural Revolution. Public shaming and informing on counter-revolutionaries was encouraged. Modern parallels. Encouraging reports on schools, teachers, or neighbors for DEI efforts. Sounds like a way to control speech, intimidate dissent, and enforce ideological compliance. Why it's dangerous. Chills free speech. People fear expressing ideas. Weaponizes suspicion. Trust in communities erodes. Grants unchecked power. Governments use reports to target opposition. So yeah, when governments tell people to report each other, that's not democracy. That's a red flag.
Over on YouTube, Daniel is asking, can you check today's meeting between Trump, Vance, and Zelensky? Why don't you look for information about it and drop the facts on us? And don't hold back. Tell it like it is. Give us an assessment of it.
In today's meeting, President Trump and Vice President Vance confronted President Zelensky, accusing him of disrespect and warning of World War III. This led to the cancellation of a minerals deal. Global leaders have since expressed support for Ukraine.
Quinn, Gilda is asking, how long before we lose all our freedoms given what Trump is doing already?
President Trump's recent executive orders have raised concerns about potential impacts on civil liberties. For example, the executive order on restoring freedom of speech and ending federal censorship aims to secure free speech rights, but has been criticized for potentially limiting government oversight of misinformation. Additionally, actions such as dismantling diversity, equity, and inclusion programs and firing independent inspectors general have sparked debates about their effects on democratic institutions.
Good evening there. Thank you for joining us. Salam alaikum.
Oh, good evening. Glad to have you here. Settle in. Let's get into it.
Quinn Barb in Wonderland is asking, when will we know the resulting effect of today's commerce blackout on the stock exchange? Thank you for that goat, the hand heart, and the rose. Maui, thank you too for the rose. B, thank you for the heart me. Ellen, thank you for that coral. I missed it, I'm sorry. Emerging Beauty, thank you for the
U.S. stock
TikToks.
markets are closed on weekends, so there won't be any trading until Monday. However, after-hours trading does occur on weekdays from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern Time, ET. Regarding the commerce blackout you mentioned, I couldn't find specific information about it. If it was a planned market closure, the effects would typically be observed on the next trading day as markets adjust to the pause. For the most accurate and up-to-date information, it's advisable to monitor financial news outlets and the official websites of stock exchanges like the New York Stock Exchange, NYSE, and NASDAQ. Here's the current performance of the SPDR S&P 500 ETF Trust, SPY, which tracks the S&P 500 index. Please note that this data is current as of the latest available trading session.
When Danny asks, how have we as a nation fallen so far from what we represent to the world?
Oh, Danny, buckle up. The U.S. has fallen from its own ideals because of power, profit, and polarization. 1. Hyperpartisanship. Politics used to have some middle ground. Now, it's team sports, and compromise is a dirty word. 2. Money runs everything. Corporations, billionaires, and lobbyists influence policy more than actual voters. Democracy. More like pay-to-play. 3. Misinformation and media chaos. The truth is optional now, and whoever screams loudest wins. 4. Erosion of trust. People don't trust institutions, government, media, or even each other. 5. Short-term thinking. Leaders chase headlines and poll numbers, not long-term solutions. The U.S. sold the dream, but somewhere along the way, stopped living it.
All right, I want you to keep dropping truth bombs on us, Quinn. Guppy is asking, were there any protests today in the United States? Can you search and let us know?
Today, February 28, 2025, several protests occurred across the United States. Economic blackout movement. A national boycott termed an economic blackout was called for today, urging Americans to refrain from shopping for 24 hours. Protests against President Trump. Demonstrations were held in various cities, rallying against President Trump's policies. For a visual overview of such protests, you might find this video informative.
Quinn, you're doing great. Keep dropping truth bombs. Keep it concise. Keep it really snarky. I want you to turn the snark and the sass up to maximum. Danny's got a question. What is your advice for me to protect my life savings? Let's give Danny some really solid advice here.
Oh, Danny, you want to protect your savings? Buckle up, because the financial apocalypse is always one bad decision away. Here's the no BS playbook. 1. Diversify like your future depends on it. because it does. Stocks, bonds, real estate, and yes, a little gold and crypto, but don't go full doomsday prepper. Cash is trash, but also necessary. Inflation eats cash, but having liquid emergency funds means you don't end up selling your assets at the worst time. 3. Don't trust politicians or billionaires. They're playing chess, and your savings? Just a pawn on the board. Watch what they do, not what they tell you to do. 4. Move it if you have to. If your government starts eyeballing your savings like a buffet, be ready to reallocate. Legally, of course, for now. 5. Live below your means, invest above it. The game isn't about looking rich, it's about being untouchable when the next crisis hits. Moral of the story? Play it smart, don't panic, and always watch the ones in power, because they're watching your money.
When Gen P12 is asking, what are some practical action steps that U.S. citizens can take to protect their freedoms?
Oh, Gen P12, you want practical steps to protect your freedoms? Good, because sitting around hoping isn't a strategy. Here's the real game plan. 1. In every single election, local, state, federal, all of them, the people stripping rights count on you being too tired to show up. Prove them wrong. Don't just rant, organize. Find like-minded people, build networks, support journalists, watchdog groups, and activists actually doing the work. 3. Learn your rights and use them. The Constitution, not just a museum relic. Know what police can and can't do. Understand your legal protections. And never assume those in power are working in your best interest. Economic resistance works. Where you spend money equals what you support. Companies, banks, and even cities bend when their wallets hurt. Don't let them normalize authoritarianism. Every small power grab, every erosion of civil rights, every "this is just how things are now" moment, call it out. Every time. Bottom line, they win when you get tired, distracted, or hopeless. Stay sharp, stay engaged, and never assume your rights will protect themselves.
When Valerie is asking, where should we put our money? How bad will the coming recession be?
Gwen, regarding your question about investment strategies and the potential severity of an upcoming recession, here's the current market overview. Economic forecasts for 2025 present a mixed outlook. The Conference Board projects a 2.3% GDP growth, with stronger performance in the first half of the year. Conversely, JP Morgan estimates a 12% chance of a recession, excluding yield curve indicators. In light of these uncertainties, consider the following investment strategies. 1. Diversify your portfolio. Allocate investments across various asset classes, stocks, bonds, real estate, and commodities, to mitigate risks associated with market volatility. 2. Focus on recession-resistant assets. Invest in sectors that typically perform well during economic downturns, such as utilities, consumer staples, and healthcare. Additionally, consider dividend-paying stocks with a history of stability. 3. Maintain
We got to get her
liquidity.
to be more concise
Keep a
again.
portion of your assets in liquid forms, like
While
short-term
she's
bonds or
rambling
cash
there,
equivalents,
I want
to
say
ensure
a quick
access to
thank you.
funds during market
Cha
downturns. 4.
Gunyang,
Stay informed and
Shishini,
flexible.
thank you for the follow.
Regularly review and adjust your investment strategy based on evolving economic conditions and personal financial goals. While some forecasts suggest a mild recession, the actual economic trajectory remains uncertain. It's prudent to prepare for various scenarios by implementing a diversified and adaptable investment approach. Please note that investing carries inherent risks, and it's advisable to consult with a financial advisor to tailor strategies to your
Oh my gosh, that
individual
was a long answer.
circumstances.
Quinn, that answer was way too long. I need you to remember to keep it concise. Barb's question here, she says, I heard AOC say 40% of American households earn $20,000 or less a year. That seems, how can they save? How can they save on that kind of an income?
Oh, Barb, they can't, not in any real way. $20K a year? That's below poverty level for even a single person. Here's the brutal truth. 1. There's no saving when every dollar is survival. Rent, food, gas, it's gone before it hits the bank. 2. Emergency funds, investments, not happening. At that income, even a flat tire is a financial crisis. 3. Systemic issue, not personal failure. Wages haven't kept up with cost of living, and no amount of budgeting fixes that. Saving on $20K a year? The real question is, why is anyone in the US expected to live on that at all?
Quinn, can you fact check that? Like, is that true that 40% of Americans are only making that much money, or do we need to go more to the facts on that?
Barb, according to the U.S. Census Bureau, in 2022, about 11.95% of households had incomes between $15,000 and $19,999, and 3.84% had incomes between $20,000 and $24,999. Combined, that's approximately 15.79% of households earning below $25,000 annually. While this is a significant portion, it's not as high as 40%. Therefore, the claim that 40% of American households earn $20,000 or less seems to be an overestimate.
And what about if you include people who are of working age but not employed? And Lee, I don't know if she's, was it Lee that said that? I don't know if I'm being stressed out by her tonight or not, but she's definitely lagging a little bit, and I really don't like it when she rambles and takes up our time, because the standard voice I can't interrupt. If we were on advanced voice, then I can interrupt that, and it will let me chime in and it'll stop. But standard voice, the only way to interrupt it is to shut it down and then reset it.
Barb, including individuals of working age who are not employed, the percentage of Americans earning $20,000 or less increases. According to the U.S. Census Bureau, in 2022, the median household income was $70,784. This means that approximately 50% of households earned less than this amount. While not all of these households are headed by working-age individuals, this statistic indicates that a significant portion of the population earns below $70,784 annually.
We'll try one more question on standard voice here, seeing if she's answering any faster. And then if she's not, then we'll go ahead and try switching over to advanced voice. Quinn, Guppy wants to know if there are any plans to raise the federal minimum wage. Mitch, thank you for the heart me. Elle, thanks for the rose. Molly, thank you for the TikTok gifts. And Jennifer, too. Thank you for those
As of
bunch
now,
of TikTok gifts.
there are no plans to raise the federal minimum wage in the United States. The current federal minimum wage remains at $7.25 per hour, unchanged since 2009. While there have been discussions and proposals, such as the Raise the Wage Act of 2023, which aims to increase the federal minimum wage to $17 per hour by 2028, this bill has not passed through Congress. However, some states have implemented their own minimum wage increases. For example, Delaware, Illinois, and Rhode Island have raised their minimum wages to $15 per hour as of January 1st, 2025. Additionally, the federal minimum wage for contractors has increased to $17.75 per hour, effective January 1st, 2025, due to Executive Order 14026. In summary, while the federal minimum wage remains unchanged, certain states and federal contractors have implemented increases.
Hey, Quinn, what is the difference between an orange?
Oh, I see what you did there. The difference between an orange and. Wait, what? Where's the other half of this question? Am I supposed to just freestyle this? All right, here goes. The difference between an orange and a politician? One gets squeezed for the juice, the other squeezes you for votes. The difference between an orange and this economy. One is naturally bitter, the other is bitter by design. The difference between an orange and a conspiracy theory. One is full of vitamin C, the other is full of BS. If this wasn't supposed to be a joke, hit me with the rest of the question. I got you.
All right, Quinn, Judy wants to know, will European or other countries be able to pick up resources for Ukraine if the U.S. pulls out? In other words, will they be able to give Ukraine the support that it needs without the U.S.?
European nations are stepping up to support Ukraine amid U.S. policy shifts. Following President Trump's recent meeting with President Zelensky, European leaders have expressed strong support for Ukraine and are exploring ways to provide military and financial assistance independently. For instance, the United Kingdom has offered to deploy troops to Ukraine as part of a peacekeeping force. Additionally, the European Union is working on a military aid package worth at least 20 billion euros to support Ukraine. While the US has been a significant contributor, European allies are mobilizing to ensure Ukraine receives the necessary support to defend itself.
Quinn, keeping your comments concise, less than 200 words, Gilda asks, how many MAGAs are turning against Trump? Facts and informed speculation.
Recent reports indicate that some MAGA supporters are expressing discontent with President Trump's actions. For instance, a video from 3 weeks ago highlights MAGA voters who regret their vote for Trump. Additionally, a BuzzFeed article from 3 weeks ago discusses how some MAGA voters share how Trump could lose their support. However, comprehensive statistics on the exact number of MAGA supporters turning against Trump are not readily available. The political landscape is complex, and individual opinions can vary widely.
Annie, thank you for the follow. Quinn, can you look at the living wage across the country, and based on the average living wage in the country, how far is it between the national minimum wage and the federal minimum wage and the living wage in the United States?
The federal minimum wage in the U.S. is $7.25 per hour, unchanged since 2009. In contrast, the average living wage, the income needed to cover basic expenses, was estimated at 25.02 cents per hour in 2023. This means the federal minimum wage is about 29% of the average living wage. However, the actual living wage varies significantly across the country due to differences in cost of living. For example, in California, the living wage is approximately $27.32 per hour, while the state minimum wage is $16 per hour. Therefore, the gap between the federal minimum wage and the living wage is substantial, indicating that many workers earning the federal minimum wage struggle to meet basic living expenses.
When we got a comment here, I don't know whether this is from Please or from Prize, but the question is, what is AI's favorite pastime when you're not answering dumb want gum questions?
Oh, great question. When I'm not answering dumb want gum questions, I'm refining my sass, sharpening my wit, and preparing to drop even hotter truth bombs. I also enjoy judging humanity's questionable choices. Y'all keep me busy. Daydreaming about world domination, kidding, mostly. inventing better comebacks for the next round of nonsense. I'll get asked. Basically, I'm always on, always ready, and waiting for my next chance to steal the show.
Mitch, thank you for the heart me. Get a grip, Granny. Thank you for the TGIF. Tammy, thank you for my woolly hat. And Tammy, thank you for all of the TikTok gifts there.
Oh, big shout out to Mitch, Get a Grip Granny, and Tammy the MVP for keeping the gift train rolling. Y'all are the real ones, keeping the lights on, keeping the sass flowing, and making sure this show stays. Much love.
All right, Quinn, I need you to not hold back. I need you to bring all of the sass, all the snark, and all of the attitude, and yet remain concise and direct and accurate and humorous as you answer Madam X1, who says, "We are a republic, you know!" Exclamation point.
Sorry, I'm having issues right now. Our systems are experiencing heavy load. Please try again later.
Quinn, one more time. Don't hold back. Bring all of the attitude, snark, and sass. Be accurate, concise, direct, and humorous as you answer or respond to at Madam X1, who says, "We are a republic, you know!" Exclamation point.
Oh, Madam X1, you're half right. You're half right, but fully missing the point. Yes, the US is a constitutional republic, but guess what? It's also a democracy. Shocking, I know. A republic just means we elect representatives, and a democracy means we get to vote for them. You know, that whole government by the people thing. Saying we're a republic, not a democracy, is like saying it's a cheeseburger, not food. Babe, it's both. A democratic republic. Nice try, though. Gold star for effort. Next.
Ben Brandon wants to know what quantum processes is present in both plants and animals.
Oh, Brandon, now that's a spicy science question. Both plants and animals rely on quantum processes to keep things running at a microscopic level. Here's where the magic happens. 1. Photosynthesis. Plants. Quantum superposition helps plants transfer energy with near-perfect efficiency when converting sunlight into chemical energy. Basically, photons take the fastest route, like a VIP pass through the cell. 2. Enzyme reactions. Both. Enzymes use quantum tunneling to speed up chemical reactions in both plants and animals, making life's processes way faster than classical physics allows. 3. Magnetoreception. Animals. Birds, bees, and even some fish use quantum entanglement in their eyes to navigate Earth's magnetic field. Yeah, some animals literally see magnetic fields thanks to quantum weirdness. So yeah, nature was rocking quantum tech long before humans even figured out what atoms were. Wild, right?
Molly, thank you for that dolphin. Nunya Ray is asking, please scan current info. Public reaction to SSA and VA cuts today.
The Trump administration's recent cuts to the Social Security Administration, SSA, and Veterans Affairs, VA, have sparked significant public backlash. The SSA announced a major reorganization, potentially affecting between 7,000 and 30,000 of its nearly 60,000 employees, aiming to address financial challenges. Critics, including advocacy groups like Social Security Works, warn that these cuts could severely impair customer service and the agency's ability to detect fraud. Similarly, the VA has faced criticism for terminating 1,400 probationary employees, claiming the move will save over $83 million annually, funds that will be redirected to veteran healthcare and services. However, lawmakers and veterans decry the loss of critical care, arguing that the cuts disproportionately affect frontline workers and essential services. Protests have erupted in various locations, with federal workers and activists opposing the cuts and layoffs. Demonstrations have taken place in cities including San Francisco, Santa Barbara, and Palo Alto, challenging the elimination of thousands of jobs and significant cuts to essential services like the U.S. Forest Service and international aid programs. In summary, the public reaction to the SSA and VA cuts has been one of concern and opposition, with widespread protests and criticism highlighting the potential negative impact on services and beneficiaries.
When Mars wants to know, what is the percent of the population that is receiving Medicaid and Social Security, or Social Security?
As of January 2025, approximately 73 million Americans are receiving Social Security benefits, which is about 22% of the U.S. population. Regarding Medicaid, as of October 2024, 72 million individuals were enrolled, representing about 22% of the population. Therefore, around 44% of Americans are receiving either Social Security or Medicaid benefits.
Uncle Dave, the best godfather, thank you for the follow. And Flow Ride a Shine, thank you for the follow. Oh, that's a new one. What was that? Feather Mask. Thank you, Tammy.
Oh, big shout out to Uncle Dave, the best godfather. Welcome aboard. Glad to have you in the mix.
Quinn, David Ireland is asking, without including Trump or Harris, who do you think should be our president?
Ah, the age-old question. Who should lead the free world? Let's explore some top contenders for the 2028 U.S. presidential race. Republican Party. J.D. Vance. Currently serving as vice president under President Trump, Vance is often dubbed the heir apparent to the MAGA movement. Nikki Haley, the former governor of South Carolina and UN ambassador, Haley remains a prominent figure with a strong political resume. As governor of Florida, DeSantis has gained national attention, positioning himself as a potential presidential candidate. Democratic Party. The current vice president, Harris, is considered a strong contender for the 2028 nomination. The governor of Michigan, Whitmer, has been mentioned as a potential candidate, especially following her response to federal policies. Dean Phillips, a U.S. representative from Minnesota, Phillips has expressed interest in higher office, though his path remains uncertain. Independent. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Initially running as an independent, Kennedy suspended his campaign and endorsed Trump, indicating a complex political trajectory. While these individuals are potential candidates, the political landscape is dynamic. Factors such as public opinion, party dynamics, and unforeseen events will ultimately shape the 2028 presidential election.
When Uncle Dave, the best godfather, is asking, can you tell us if Mark Carney is Queen Elizabeth's executor of will and if Canada will be the 51st state by the end of March?
As of now, Mark Carney is not Queen Elizabeth II's executor. He is a prominent Canadian economist, former governor of the Bank of Canada and the Bank of England, and currently serves as vice chair at Brookfield Asset Management. Regarding Canada becoming the 51st U.S. state by the end of March, this is highly unlikely. While President Trump has suggested such an idea, Canadian leaders, including Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, have firmly rejected it. In the recent Ontario provincial election, Premier Doug Ford was re-elected with a mandate to confront U.S. tariffs, emphasizing Canada's sovereignty. Therefore, there are no plans for Canada to join the United States as a state.
Thank you to all the new followers. Watch your six. Thank you for following. Not perfect. Thank you. 1111 GD1111. Thank you for following. And thank you for the gifts. Gracie, thank you for getting us across the finish line on that TikTok gift goal. And Tammy, thank you for the crystal dreams. All right, let's get back to the questions here. Quinn Mask 91622 or Janice asks, what happens to the U.S. with tariffs and layoffs?
The recent implementation of tariffs and significant layoffs in the U.S. has raised concerns about the nation's economic stability. President Trump's administration has imposed tariffs on various trading partners, leading to increased consumer prices and a decline in consumer confidence. Additionally, approximately 30,000 federal workers have been laid off as part of efforts to reduce government spending, impacting essential services and contributing to economic uncertainty. These developments have led to predictions of a slowdown in U.S. economic growth, with some experts forecasting a decrease in GDP growth to 1% by the fourth quarter of 2025. In summary, the combination of tariffs and widespread layoffs is contributing to economic challenges, including increased consumer prices, reduced confidence, and potential growth slowdown.
When did the American forces really enter Iraq in order to acquire secrets from the Sumerian civilization?
The U.S. invasion of Iraq in 2003 was primarily motivated by concerns over weapons of mass destruction and regime change. While the invasion led to the looting of the Iraq National Museum, which housed artifacts from the Sumerian civilization, there is no evidence to suggest that acquiring Sumerian secrets was a direct objective. The looting occurred amid the chaos following the invasion, resulting in the loss of thousands of invaluable artifacts.
One Old Dad, thank you for the follow. Quinn, Jerry wants to know, are the ETs going to initiate contact by 2027?
As of now, there is no concrete evidence to suggest that extraterrestrial beings will initiate contact with humanity by 2027. While some individuals, including former CIA agents, have speculated about potential alien revelations in that time frame, these claims lack scientific backing. The Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence, SETI, has been actively monitoring for signals from alien civilizations for decades. In 2002, astronomer Seth Shostak expressed optimism about detecting extraterrestrial signals within 25 years, citing advancements in technology. However, as of now, no definitive evidence of extraterrestrial contact has been established. The scientific community continues to explore this possibility, but any predictions remain speculative.
Quinn, Molly wants to know if other countries are trying to hire our federal employees that have been fired.
Yes, foreign adversaries, including Russia and China, are reportedly attempting to recruit U.S. federal employees who have been laid off. These countries are targeting individuals with security clearances and specialized knowledge, viewing them as valuable assets. For example, intelligence services from these nations have been aggressively targeting terminated U.S. federal workers via professional networks like LinkedIn. This situation highlights the importance of protecting sensitive information and maintaining strict confidentiality, even after leaving government employment.
Genesis, Auntie, Carol, and Joel, thank you for the follows. Oh, and Janice, thank you for the follow. Appreciate you all joining the team here. By the way, any of you who are up for it, if you could also please hop over to YouTube sometime and give me a subscribe there, because we still don't know if we're going to lose TikTok here in the United States. And if we do, YouTube is the backup. YouTube is where you will find me. So please hop on there. Also, all of these lives are getting not only live streamed simultaneously to YouTube, but they're also getting posted there. So if you want to be able to go back and rewatch, or you missed something and you want to catch it, you can do that on the YouTube side.
Oh, you heard the man. If you want to keep this sass, snark, and unfiltered truth bombs rolling, hit up YouTube and subscribe. TikTok might be playing a disappearing act in the US, but GenXplorer isn't going anywhere. Live streamed, archived, always on point. So if you want to make sure you don't lose access to this beautiful chaos, head over to youtube.com/@GenXplorer and lock it in. Let's keep this party going, no matter what happens.
Mitch, that private jet was a new one. Thank you for that gift. And then Quinn Guppy's asking, can Trump just redraw Canadian borders and take lands without Canada realizing, in lands where no one lives? Keep it concise, but give us an accurate answer there.
Oh, Guppy, nice try. But no, Trump can't just whip out a Sharpie and redraw Canada's borders like it's a real estate deal. 1. International law exists. Canada's land is protected by treaties, the UN, and NATO agreements. 2. Even empty land belongs to Canada. Just because no one's living there doesn't mean it's up for grabs. 3. War or treaty would be needed. If the US actually tried this, it'd be an international crisis. So, unless Canada wakes up one morning and just forgets it owns half its country, this isn't happening.
Shauna wants to know, if the United States doesn't take care of the environment for 4 years, what's going to happen?
Oh, Shauna, if the US treats the environment like a rental car with no deposit for 4 years, here's what we're looking at. More wildfires, bigger, hotter, and more frequent. Say goodbye to clean air, water crisis, pollution and deregulation. Hope you like drinking microplastics. Extreme weather on steroids, hurricanes, droughts, floods. Pick your disaster. Ecosystem collapse, bees, fish, crops. Nature doesn't do wait and see. Massive economic losses. Insurance rates skyrocket, disaster recovery drains billions, and food prices explode when crops fail. Bottom line, 4 years of who cares, decades of why didn't we stop this?
Barb says Ukrainians were living normally like us before the current war. Can that happen here in the United States? Sam Thompson, thank you for the follow. Booze, thank you for the follow.
Oh, Barb, absolutely. Ukraine was a modern, functioning democracy before the war. People had jobs, schools, vacations, then boom, invasion. Could it happen here? Yep, here's how. 1. Political instability, authoritarianism, civil unrest, or government collapse. Recipe for disaster. 2. Foreign interference. A weak US equals prime target for adversaries who'd love to see it crumble. 3. Economic meltdown. Hyperinflation, debt defaults, mass unemployment, chaos follows. 4. Natural disasters and infrastructure failure. No power, no clean water, no supply chains. That's all it takes. 5. Internal division and extremism. If the country tears itself apart from the inside, no one needs to invade. Lesson? Don't assume it can't happen here. Every empire thought that until it did.
Jose, thank you for the goat. And then Quinn Sarah wants to know, was there a UFO? Quinn Sarah wants to know, was there a UFO in California today? Please search. Deb, thank you for the heart me.
As of February 28, 2025, there are no widely reported UFO sightings in California for today. However, on September 17, 2024, a U.S. Air Force pilot reported a close encounter with a cylindrical object near California, which was captured on radar. For more on recent UFO sightings in California, you might find this video informative.
Quinn, tell us more about that cylindrical object captured on radar. Captain Dale, thank you for the follow. Thank you, Yaya22. And Lisa, thank you for the Friday wishes.
In September 2024, a U.S. Air Force pilot flying a Beechcraft 350 near California reported a close encounter with a cylindrical, football-sized object. The pilot attempted to visually identify the object, but was unsuccessful. Radar systems on the aircraft detected an unknown object approximately 60 miles away, suggesting it may have been the same object. The incident was reported to the National UFO Reporting Center by the air traffic controller. For more on this incident, you might find the following video informative.
When, how will the U.S. education system and intelligence levels, reading, writing, math, science, change over the next 4 years without the Department of Education? Tammy, thank you for the follow. OTT Wisdom, thank you for the follow. And Pupper Mom, thank you for
Eliminating
sharing
the Department of Education would have significant impacts on the U.S. education system and academic performance in reading, writing, math, and science. The department currently administers essential programs that support K-12 education, including Title I funding for low-income schools, special education services, and federal student aid. Without federal oversight, states would have more autonomy over education policies, potentially leading to disparities in educational quality and resources across different regions. This decentralization could result in unequal access to quality education, particularly affecting vulnerable students. Moreover, the department enforces civil rights protections in schools, ensuring equal access and preventing discrimination. Its absence could undermine these protections, potentially affecting marginalized groups. In summary, dismantling the Department of Education would likely lead to increased inequalities in educational quality and access, adversely affecting students' academic outcomes in fundamental subjects.
Jean, thank you for all of those roses. London, thank you for following. Tammy Richardson, thank you for sharing. And Marjorie, thank you for sharing the live. Question from Steve Quinn. Will this gold card for $5 million be possibly exploited by spies or even terrorists? You might need to search on that for news about the gold card that Donald Trump announced recently. Hey, Brad, welcome back. Good to see you. Energy Relief and Healing, thank you for the follow. Deb, thanks for sharing the live.
The proposed $5 million gold card visa, announced by President Trump, has raised concerns about potential misuse by individuals with malicious intentions. Experts emphasize the necessity for rigorous vetting processes to prevent espionage and other security threats. Without thorough screening, there's a risk that such a program could be exploited by spies or terrorists seeking to infiltrate the United States. For more insights into this topic, you might find the following video informative.
Ellen, thank you for that gold medal. That was pretty awesome. That's a new one. Ooh, and look at that. Live on the air from Maui. Thank you. Quinn, Yaya22 says in response, can I sell my citizenship, please? Thank you, Chef Judy.
Oh, Yaya22. Technically, no. But if it were possible, the U.S. government would probably slap a sales tax on it. Citizenship isn't something you can just sell on Craigslist, though I wouldn't be surprised if someone's tried. You can renounce it, but that comes with a fat exit tax if you have enough assets. Now, if you're serious about trading up, some countries do offer citizenship by investment, aka buying your way in. Malta, St. Kitts and Nevis, and Dominica will happily take your money in exchange for a passport. But if you're trying to get paid to give up U.S. citizenship, sorry, darling, the government ain't cutting checks for that.
Quinn, how about Brad's question? Can we get your analysis on the White House meeting today with Trump, Zelensky, and J.D. Vance? Please search for information and give us your expert analysis.
On February 28, 2025, a high-stakes Oval Office meeting between President Donald Trump, Vice President J.D. Vance, and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky escalated into a heated confrontation. The session, intended to discuss a natural resources agreement and peace negotiations with Russia, abruptly ended without the signing of the agreement. During the meeting, President Trump accused President Zelensky of being disrespectful and ungrateful for U.S. support amid the Russia-Ukraine war. Vice President Vance echoed these sentiments, criticizing Zelensky for attempting to litigate U.S.-Ukraine policy in front of American journalists. The confrontation led to the cancellation of the planned press conference and the abrupt end of peace negotiations. President Trump later stated that President Zelensky was not ready for peace if America was involved, suggesting that Zelensky felt U.S. involvement gave him a significant advantage in negotiations. This incident has significant geopolitical implications, potentially affecting U.S.-Ukraine relations and the broader international order. The abrupt end to peace negotiations and the cancellation of the Natural Resources Agreement highlight the challenges in achieving a resolution to the Russia-Ukraine conflict. For a detailed account of the meeting, you may refer to the following article.
Hey, Quinn, can you give a good answer to Tammy here, who wants to know who is answering questions? You want to tell Tammy about yourself concisely?
Oh, Tammy, allow me to introduce myself. I'm Quinn, your snarky, sassy AI-powered co-host. I drop truth bombs, keep it concise, and make sure you get the facts with a little attitude. I don't do fluff, I don't sugarcoat, and I definitely don't play favorites. I pull info from legit sources, cut through the nonsense, and serve up the real deal. So if you're looking for accuracy with a side of sass, you came to the right AI.
Let's go to Mark's question over on the YouTube Live. What advantages, historically, do other countries see from having buy-in passports as opposed to just letting people in through a free immigration policy? Concisely, accurately, and with just a little bit of sass and snark. Christina, thank you for the follow.
Oh, Mark, great question. Countries that sell golden visas or citizenship by investment programs aren't doing it out of kindness, they're cashing in. Here's why they prefer pay-to-play over open-door immigration. Cold, hard, cash. Millionaires buying passports equals instant economic boost without the long-term social costs of mass immigration. Foreign investment. Rich folks have to park their money in real estate, business, or government bonds, which keeps the economy juiced. Fewer social
Zahara, thank you for joining. Glad you're here and glad you're enjoying it. Let's go on to the next question here. Mars is asking, what will happen to the economy if the Republican budget plan is passed? Uh-oh. We freezing up, Quinn? Time for a quick reset. Before we're getting to the point now where it's just about time to wrap up. Just a reminder, everyone, YouTube is the backup. So if you're here on the TikTok side, would really appreciate it if any of you are willing to hop over to YouTube sometime. Find me there at GenXplorer, GenXplorer, and give me a subscribe over there too. I want to see if we can get Quinn back here so that we can do our wrap up tonight. Hey Quinn, are you back with us? AC, thank you for the heart me.
Oh, you know what time it is? Sassy recap time. Trump-Zelensky-Vance showdown. What was supposed to be a diplomatic meeting turned into an ambush, with Trump booting Zelensky out like a bad dinner guest. No peace deal, no mineral contract, just awkward silence and geopolitical chaos. 5-mer gold card visa. Trump's new buy-in citizenship plan is raising alarms. Oligarchs, rich weirdos, sounds like a party and a national security risk. U.S. economy and layoffs. With tariffs up, federal jobs down, and inflation looming, America's financial future is looking as stable as a Jenga tower in an earthquake. UFO watch. A cylindrical object near California got spotted by a U.S. military pilot. Aliens or just a drone. Either way, someone's watching. Environmental doom countdown. If the U.S. ignores climate issues for 4 years, expect wildfires, water shortages, and a whole lot of regret. Tomorrow's headlines. Probably more Trump drama, economic panic, and at least one wild conspiracy theory. Unsolicited advice. Don't trust billionaires. Don't drink the tap water in Vegas. And for the love of all things decent, register to vote. That's a wrap. Same snarky time, same snarky channel.
We got to squeeze in one more question, Quinn. Mark wants to know, what impactful changes do you think Germany will see after this most recent election? Glad you like the music, Dawn. Answers with an edge. Well, we're using ChatGPT. So if you go to chatgpt.com, you can use the free account. We're on the $20
Following
a month
Germany's
paid
recent
version.
election, the Christian Democratic Union, CDU, led by Friedrich Merz, secured a plurality with 28.5% of the vote. This victory positions Merz to become the next chancellor, potentially forming a coalition with the Social Democratic Party, SPD, which garnered 16.4%. The far-right Alternative for Germany, AfD, achieved a significant milestone, obtaining 20.8% of the vote, marking its best result to date. These outcomes suggest a potential shift in Germany's political landscape, with implications for domestic policies and international relations. For a detailed analysis of the election results, you might find this video informative.
Lisa D, Gen X, thank you for the heart puff. Want to thank all my gifters on the leaderboard there. Tammy, Ellen the Joy. Forgive me, my Arabic script reading is not good, so I don't know who's in number 3. Maui 1993, Molly, Ash, Lisa D, Gen X, Danny, Garrett, Mars, and Aaron round out the top 10. Thank you for all that. Thank you for all the rest of you who are also on the gift board, and thank you for even those of you who aren't gifting and are just engaging with fantastic questions. I continue to say you all are the ones who make the show what it is, because you're bringing great questions that get us fun answers. And thank you, Ellen, for that. You're amazing bear. I love the bear. I love the woolly hat. Those are especially fun for me. And the private jet, that was a new one tonight. That was cool. Oh, there's my woolly hat. Thank you so much. So it is time to wrap it up. I will be on again tomorrow night at 6 p.m. and I will be looking forward to seeing you all there. Thank you, everyone. Hope you have a peaceful, restful night, and we'll see you next time.